Arr mateys, this be Mike from Games Played Badly. I can't do that all the way through. Today on session 0, I have... oh my god. But on this episode of session 0, we have Heath from Dahgdass Cauldron. And he has a brand new project called Into the Rage. And it is based off of a D&D setting from Tribality Publishing called The Seas of Solidarity. That's a mouthful. If you like pirates and you like sea stuff and shanties and barr, then this is the interview for you. That interview starts now. Hey Heath, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, I can't complain. It was almost 40 degrees today, so that's pretty good in our world.
Oh, well, we got 57, so yay.
Oh, look at you. That's short weather here in Chicago.
Yeah. No, the dachshund was not happy going out for a walk.
Yeah. I can't even imagine walking a dog in weather that's below a certain amount because it's got to be really cold on their paws.
Yeah, and we have sweaters and stuff, but he gets so embarrassed. I swear, I didn't think dogs could get, but he really does. Like he just sort of looks away and it's like, nobody look at me.
The bashful dachshund.
Yes.
That sounds like it'd be either a children's book or possibly an adventure.
Could be fun.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Chasing around a town looking for a little lady's lost dog.
Yeah, he might be starring in something soon. Okay. Sleeping on the couch next to me.
Yeah, I know. I have one outside the door here who likes to make his presence known. He's about 26 pounds.
Okay.
And he is he can. I have a pair of glass doors down here so they can't get in here, and he'll sit and he'll push against them. He can almost open them now.
Cats are evil.
Some of them. So why don't you tell me more about Dahgdass Cauldron?
All right, Dahgdass Cauldron. It's we created a company to start basically our streaming, my gaming group, and Dahgdass Cauldron really is sort of the holding portion of it. It's going to be the name we use for all of our gaming content. So our streams, our homebrew material. We're going to be releasing a review channel. I'm planning to do hopefully something like this, interview type stuff, and really just try to use that as a bridge into the industry, but to be very general about it. My name and that I've gone by for 20 some years in gaming is Dahgda. So Dahgdass Cauldron comes from Irish myth and just seemed perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now you have an existing group and you're playing some very specific things. Who's the publisher again?
The company is Tribality Publishing. It's out of Canada, and we're using their setting. The main book is called The Seas of Solidarity. It's a pirate, black powder, cannons, and it's a fun world. And I really like this publisher because they are 100% supporting us and letting me basically mess up their world for my vision of it. So,
that's a good thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I've always wanted to do an adventure, like a high seas swashbuckler adventure, but I was always really concerned about what do you do when you're on the ship?
It's actually, they've got a decent set of material between that, and then they have couple of earlier things they did as a company that help sort of establish roles on the ship. So you know what you're doing. And then just basically it's the same thing as traveling over land. What do you do for 2 weeks of travel between cities? Well, you have encounters, and you have those moments of role play, and that can be your downtime. And I can be guilty as a DM of, if if it's not built in for me to give you downtime, oh, you're just going, and my players all up and be like, can our characters just take a day off?
Yeah, right. I've actually had players complain that there are too many encounters. I said, okay, that's fine.
Yep. Although I'm getting better. I'm for, old school 3.5, second ed, all the way back to the first red box. And fifth ed, getting used to the new resource management, the way they do it, and number of encounters. And I'm always too nice to my players, and it's like I'm not stressing them. I think they're going to find in this campaign it's not going to be the same.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. I'm with you. I played red box stuff back in the day, back when there were no classes. You were a halfling or a dwarf or whatever you were. And,
Yeah.
But fifth edition, I dived into it a little bit. To be honest, I haven't read a whole bunch of it. I just kind of DM, and the players will tell me if there's something I need to look up, I'll look it up. But I mean, as far as all that stuff with resource management, I threw all that stuff out the window.
Yeah, it can be. They simplified the rules. Sometimes I get frustrated. My players will hear me complaining, particularly the skills. They really simplified those.
Yeah.
Which is great, because now you don't have to, try and split up into 30 different skills. But I keep being like, why is there not knowledge local? Why isn't there, some of these things that then people are like, well, what do I roll? And I'm like, just do history. I don't know. Go ahead.
Right.
And but they really, honestly, the fifth ed rule set is like 40 pages total for the actual running the game.
Yeah, I thought they simplified it. I thought, it was such a departure from 4E, thank God.
Yes.
And I saw somebody post on Twitter, which I think is absolutely accurate. 4E was a miniature-based game.
It was miniature. It was World of Warcraft as miniature.
Yes.
Yeah. And I get a lot of people that give me crap about saying that, because they're like, well, why do you always have to make it out to, World? I'm like, because everything was so perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
If you hadn't called it D&D, I might have actually liked it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And the thing is, like, I remember, I forgot what I was running. Wasn't a one shot, but it was some free module, and the amount of experience points and magical items they got at level 1 just stunned me.
Yeah,
I was like, and that's where I felt like it was very WoW-esque from the standpoint of speedy advancement and lots of loot.
Yes. And I got the first, I got the player's handbook, the DMG, and the monster manual, which bizarrely, they released staggered. I'm like, guys, we need all 3 of these.
Right.
So I waited till they were all out. I bought them. And then I started reading the player's handbook. I think I got halfway through and I closed it. And I never opened those books again. They're somewhere in my bookshelves, but I was just like, this is not for me.
Yeah. I mean, it was 4th edition. I didn't know anything about it at the time. I hadn't played since 3.5 probably. Okay. And it was supposed to be a one shot. Everybody wanted to play, so I went through and I got the books. And of course, being the person I am, I bought everything extra that I could find. They had dungeon tiles and they had all sorts of crazy stuff that they were selling. And I gotta tell you, those are all cool things. I still use those things to this day.
Yes.
But it was just such a different game. By the time I got done with it, I was like, wow.
and they got rid of the lore stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll be honest with you. Another thing that happened with 4th ed that I will never, ever, ever forgive Wizards of the Coast for is they killed Dragon and Dungeon magazines.
Yeah.
Love those. You took those away from me, and just the fun stuff out of Dragon with explaining the gods, or this order of knights or whatever, this lore that they gave us, we stopped getting that, and it took the flavor away from me.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing was, I mean, I don't think a lot of people know this, but the barbarian and the monk were introduced in the Dragon magazines. I mean, those classes didn't exist before the Dragon magazine existed. So there was the ninja, there were a whole bunch of classes that were released there. And I'm wondering if Wizards and their infinite wisdom said, we don't want to give away free content. I don't know, but it was kind of, I miss those to this day.
Yeah, it just, there was just so much to it. And then Dungeon, that's a great tool for beginning DM. You don't have to really think, it's all done for you. Read it and focus more on how do I run this, not me construct this dungeon. That's tough for some starting people.
It's a lot of work. I mean, DMing is not easy.
No, it is. I always say that, when somebody talks about, oh, we played for 4 hours, man, put it so much time in. I'm like, your 4 hours translated to 20 to 25 of mine, but sure, 4 hours, that was long. Yeah. But I love it. I don't mean that in a, like, trying to,
right.
Me. I love world creation. I love creating a story. So it's great. But, players, I kind of put it as my work is in between the sessions, and then during it, I'm now just here as, oh, you did that? Okay, this person shows up. I mean, right. I don't have to do anything. I already did it. You as the players are now filling this time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. And we went on a little jaunt there, but totally relevant because you've been playing for a long time, you have some experience, and you know what you like.
Exactly. I picked up D&D when I was 10 years old, and I've just never really looked back. I took a few years. I took fourth ed off. I just wasn't interested. But to me, the collaborative storytelling, spending time with friends and creating this vision, that to me is just the most fun that I can possibly have.
Completely agree with you. So now this new adventure that you guys are going on onto the high seas. Arr.
Pirates.
Tell me what you're going to be doing for how to get that out there. Are you going to be podcasting or streaming?
We're going to be putting out videos. Right now, we're starting with character introductions and player introductions because none of us are known.
Right.
So it's hopefully getting some feedback from people, getting a little bit of tease. We're going to do those over the next couple of weeks. Putting out some lore videos because I am changing the world. So I'm moving it ahead about 100 years from the book. So putting out what some of these big changes are and how the world, if you were to pick up the book, why is it different? How is it the same? But then we're going to start doing these sessions. We're going to record and edit at least for the first few. Again, give us a chance to get used to being on camera and doing these things. But I'm actually, the more I've thought about it, the more I'm thinking I kind of like the idea of recording, editing, and adding in After Effects and things. So putting it out on, a weekly stream, but it's not live. So
yeah,
every while to, maybe do a special episode that's live.
Yeah, that all sounds like a great idea.
It seems to be, not, well, I don't want to say it's not the norm, but it seems the trend is moving towards everybody live streaming. Get it. I enjoy it. Like Crit Roll, love them. I just love watching, and you get to see their faces and everything. But I think, you can add in special effects. You can add in music, different things that, quite frankly, trying to stream are a pain in the butt. Trying to get music, unless you're going to spend a lot of money on your setup.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's driven me crazy trying to come up with solutions for that.
Well, I mean, even what I do here with the miniature videos and the interview videos, I mean, it takes a lot. I mean, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
I can only imagine if you have to have 4 or 5 different cameras focused on people, so that way you get reaction shots. The editing alone has to be a bear.
I am very lucky. Well, one, I'm lucky because I've got a great casting crew. The rest of this group, I love them. I handpicked who I wanted in the cast from all of my gaming groups around here. And it wasn't a slam to anybody. I made sure everybody understood. I'm looking at who I think would have the best chemistry, not, oh, you're awful.
Right.
And I was lucky. Everybody understood that. I really had a lot of support. And then we had the people who I was like, I don't know that you'd be the right fit on camera with these people, but hey, do you want to be our executive producer? That makes you God during the show.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we're having fun. It's going to be interesting. I've got one guy in particular who has put a ton of effort into setting up the various streams, because of course right now we're definitely playing remote. And we've got one player, even once we're all live again and in person, he lives much further south, so he'll be on camera the entire time. So trying to figure that stuff out and the technology. And then I just think back to even just like 10 years ago, if we had tried this, there's no way it would have worked. It's just amazing what we've done in 10 years.
Right. I agree. I'm in IT, so watching the advances that have happened just in the last couple of years has been pretty incredible. I mean, Zoom was a revelation in some respects. We've always had like video conferencing type software, but it's never been quite this good.
Yeah, everybody is stepping up their game over this they had to because of COVID.
Right.
But yeah, Zoom, Skype, all of them, they're great. Discord, that's what we use. And
I think that's what I'm using tonight in conjunction with a tabletop simulator to play my first game with a bunch of people who I don't know. So I'm kind of scared shitless.
But isn't that fun? Like, I get to go in and meet these new people, and to me, it's fun. Now, I may not show up for game 2. How crazy you were, but still, I mean, I'm social. COVID's been a disaster for me because I want to be around people and I feed off energy. And so for me, that's always great.
Yeah, I totally understand that. So from the standpoint, you have your introductory videos that you're going to be slowly releasing, and then the actual videos of gameplay are going to be released. Do we have an idea of time frame?
Right now, we're looking at the last week of March would be the first one. That assumes all of technology cooperates. But I'm feeling pretty good. We're going to start second level. And we're going to do a pre-session of the first level where they all get to know each other. That can be awkward on these streams of how do people meet and bond. And we just decided to take that out. And so then we're going to have that. And then I've got a story map planned for 30 to 36 months of play. Wow. It's divided into 4 arcs. And I've told them, look, we're going to be doing milestone leveling. So don't be, the first few will come quick. And then after that, it will take a while, and don't. And they were all great with it because I lean very heavily, the 3 pillars of D&D. I lean so hard into role playing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I can go 2 or 3 sessions with, maybe an intimidation roll, and that's it. And I'm happy. And my players, I'm fortunate, they like that.
Good.
So, yeah, but so we're gonna get to experience that and see it play out, and just get to try out these, because Tribality, Solidarity, they added some new rules that'll be kind of cool to watch, combat maneuvers, things. And it's going to be fun. And I'm really hoping people like it. And, they want to get invested in us. They also want to get invested in Tribality. I'm a big supporter of them. I don't have any affiliation with them officially. It is purely, they just are telling me to go for it, but they're fantastic and they do really creative stuff.
Very good. Yeah, I'll make sure I put a link to their website in the video so that way people can go and check out all the stuff they have to offer.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sad that they're going to miss the second Kickstarter, but you'll be able to get in on it later. So one of the things I've been doing, we're getting a ton of custom music made, so sea shanties and things like this. And you know, we've established, again, thanks to my lawyer friend, to make sure when we pay for it, we own the copyright.
Right.
It's ours. But I've told them, you're free to use this as in your portfolio. I ask is please don't use it until after we've streamed it. But you made it. You're still the artist. I just want to make sure I can use it without getting in trouble on my stream.
Yeah. Yeah, so, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, we actually got a custom version of the world map done. And that was one of the things that Tribality did say was, hey, we love it. Please don't, you can't ever sell it. You can give it away. You can, you know, do it as a promo, but it competes with our product. So please don't sell it. And I was like, okay, no problem.
Right. Yeah, I have, there's somebody on Twitter, his name is Jason C. Daniels, and he is, you know, he's very, very talented map maker. And so I have one of it's, you know, it's so funny. It turns out that it's one of his free maps that I really like. And so I sent him a message. I said, hey, I'll pay you if you just go through and change some things around for me. So he's in the midst of doing that because we're transitioning from the traditional Forgotten Realms campaign setting, which I love. I've always loved Forgotten Realms. Sorry, I read all the books. But this time through, I wanted to start doing my own world building. So that's a slow project that's going to start coming out here soon. But I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had a good map. A good map will really tell you what some of these towns are like and geography and, you know.
And it can help define, you know, like, oh, you're way up past these mountains up in the north. Oh, then you're dressing in furs and your buildings are not going to have a lot of windows. And it just looking at a map tells you so much.
I agree. So,
I love Jason though. He is a wonderful force on Twitter. I've discovered the tabletop community in Twitter is amazing.
Good.
I stepped out to look at other parts of Twitter and quickly came back. I don't like social media. I actually think it's going to be the end of us as a culture. But I've really had a good experience with the tabletop Twitterverse, and Jason is one of those ones that's just from the beginning has been nothing but positive, and I love that.
There are so many good people out. That's the reason I'm trying to interview people, because there are so many good people on Twitter that are part of TTRPG and TTRPG Solidarity, and you know that I want to make sure that people get publicity. I mean, we're all small fries, you know. I mean, none of us are famous. But it doesn't mean that the product they're producing isn't worth people knowing about.
Yeah. And you know, not to give airtime to my nemesis, but Wilbo, you should get him on. He is another force of just kindness. You know, I jokingly call him the tyrant of kindness, and I'm gonna bring you down. And he's a great guy. I love Wilbo.
Yeah, I've watched some of his streams. I think he's really tuned into what people are feeling right now during the pandemic. He is aware that, you know, mental health is important. And also, you know, he's an all-around great guy, you know, and I've definitely watched his streams before. I'm a fan. I did try and get him on the show. It just didn't work. We just didn't connect. Hopefully soon.
Well, Bo, get your act together and get on this show. Quit being I'm gonna bring you down, dude. All right. No, he's great. But that's what I've noticed actually lately in the entire Twitter community for tabletop. Mental health is becoming a big thing, and I'm glad. And we talk about it, and you know, people are they're not afraid of being stigmatized, and I love it.
Yeah.
I think we need more of that.
Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree. Yeah, there's a lot of discussion about mental health and mental wellness, and people discussing the fact that they're burnt out and they need a day or two, or they're not feeling it, so they're not going to produce anything for that day, or they're not going to be on Twitter. They're stepping away. I think those are all very valuable lessons that people need to take to heart.
Right, and it's the honesty of it and letting everybody know you're not alone.
Right.
Because that's the number one danger to mental health, is you feel like I'm the only one going through this and I shouldn't be feeling this way.
I agree. I agree 1,000%.
Yeah.
All right, so we're doing character interviews and character and player introductions over the next couple of weeks. Here, you're going to be releasing them sporadically.
Yeah, it's just because of editing.
Right.
We shot 3 of them yesterday. We're going to do the last 3 tonight, and then I'm going to do a series of lore videos. Yeah. Just to have time to edit them and not feel super rushed. And because we got to learn to edit. more skills for the resume. But yeah, so I expect that we'll release like one every couple of days. And then we'll get into the actual play sessions, and just I'm excited to introduce this world. There's so many cool concepts that Sean, the lead designer for it, he included in his game. And just there's a group that I call them the nice Taliban, because they're ultra conservative religion, etc. They're not going to kill you, just that's why I say the nice Taliban. But there's no music, there's no dancing, there's no alcohol,
right?
Pain magic is bad. And then on the other side of that same country, it's a rebel city that's known for their contraband and everything. And I just love that contrast of basically the Pope over here, blah, 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 and then you've got we're part of you, totally. Hey, did you want that booze? Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about this because I'm interested to actually start with a stream or start with a show from the beginning, because Critical Role, by the time I kind of got around to it, it was already a billion episodes, and I just couldn't sit there and watch 4 hours every day to catch up. And speaking of that, are you going to limit your sessions, or how long do you think those are going to be per show?
The plan is 3 to 4 per with a break in the middle.
Okay.
I will admit that we're not great about that break, because we all get so into it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it'll be like, oh crap, we're at the end of session and we haven't. Okay, sorry, nobody got to go do a bio break. My bad.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's roughly, we're looking at about 3 to 4 hours. Again, that feels like the right play session time, just based on real world. It also fits what people are doing on streams, so I don't want to go too far from the norm. So
well, and also, I mean, if you end up trying to cut it up into hour chunks, there's a lot of editing, and there's a lot that ends up on the cutting room floor.
Right. And I'm not saying there won't be, because we don't produce total gold.
Right.
But I want most of what comes across with my players. I want people to see it, because I love this group. They're fun and they're so creative. And I've told them point blank, my ideal session every 7 or 8 sessions is going to be, I don't talk. You guys do
right.
it. You have your conversations and role play and do that, and I'm just there. I'm an observer. That would be awesome for me.
Yeah, I agree.
So
that's my favorite thing to do, is to tell the players, okay, so what do you do? And just kind of sit back and watch, because they're writing the adventure for me. I have a very loose outline, and then all of a sudden now as they're listening to, or I'm listening to them, all of a sudden something sounds really good, and I'm like, man, I should use that. Oh man, and half the time they screw themselves because they give me better ideas than I had. So
yeah. And I'm laughing about this because I did run recently a Tallis game. And it lasted about 2.5 years. And it was great, a lot of fun. Second time I've run Tallis. But I joked that I have notes of what's going to happen. Let me go ahead and throw these out because you all just sat down at the table. So I know this is not going the way I wrote it. I call my group the hooligans because they're going to mess it up no matter what I do.
All right. So I'm looking forward to that. I am going to definitely be watching and waiting. And I will try and make sure that people know if you let me know when your videos are coming out, I'll make sure that my followers know. So that way they can catch it from the beginning. Because I think a lot of us would like to start with something new, something fresh.
Yeah. And that's the idea. I feel I started this idea back in October, and we've been planning it. And at that point, I really didn't see many pirate or sailing based games. I'm like, hey, it's gonna be kind of cool. It's going to be new. And now I've seen like 4 start in the last, it's like, really? Yeah, right. But I think we're going to have a unique take and some cool views on stuff.
Very, very good. Yeah. Okay. I have a little thing that I do with all of my guests, and it's basically a quick fire round. And so I'm going to ask you a couple questions and just shoot out whatever comes to mind.
Go for it.
Hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburgers.
Yep.
And I'm weird because I like mine medium rare, which is a source of major debate between my roommate and I.
Well, and that's part of it is where you're getting the hamburger from. What if you order it medium rare?
Yes, it is. But anybody that does like, I get any piece of beef, like I get it cooked well. Why did you kill that cow twice?
I know. Yeah, no kidding. Same thing with steaks for me. Drives me nuts.
Yes. So,
all right. So you're a meat eater. Beer or cocktail?
Cocktails.
Yeah, me too. Although I drink a lot of beer, but I do enjoy my cocktails from time to time.
I'll do an Irish car bomb. That's about the only time I'll drink beer.
Yeah. I had them all this out in my head. Drive or fly?
Can I give you a third answer?
Absolutely.
Train.
My husband loves trains. Yes, I totally get it.
Yep. The long distance, the fun I can get up and walk and but I get to see the landscape. It's great.
Yeah. Can you imagine playing D&D on a train? Wouldn't that be pretty awesome?
You know what? Going across country and doing that would just be amazing. This is how we spent the entire trip getting there. It's like, oh, hey, we're here. Cool.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Milkshake or malt?
I go back and forth. Lately it's been milkshakes.
Yeah.
We got Freddy's custards here and they both, but yeah, lately it's been mostly milkshakes.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
PC or Mac?
PC. I want to be able to do what I want to do with it, and I get confused by computers that are too helpful.
Well, my thing is actually the new Windows PCs are doing this now, but when a Mac would crash, like a little bomb would show up and it just explode, or it was like sad face. I was like, what does that mean? Like, I'm a technical guy. Give me a technical reason why this happened.
Well, and I used to, back when Macs first were becoming a thing, I used to tell people that I couldn't stand Macs because of the way it formatted disks, because you just put it in and it did it. I'm like, no, PCs, you had to bleed to format that disk and explain, this is the parameter I want, do this and do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to work for it.
Macs.
Well, Heath, it was awesome having you here. I cannot wait to see what you guys are going to produce and to meet your crew. And again, those videos should be coming out here within the next week.
Yes.
So I'm eagerly awaiting meeting all of the people who are going to be part of your group and to hear about the changes you've made to this world. And I wish you the absolute best of luck.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Into the Rage. And remember, dark waters hide many truths.
Ah, that's true.